Yeah, I don't think anyone has intentions of being a blended family. Like, that's not like you don't go out in the world and be like, I can't wait one day to have a nuclear family and then not, and
Right.
then have a blended family.
I didn't have 4 children to think, I want a blended family one day. And I know you didn't have 2 to think, I want a blended family as well.
Well, I didn't have 2 to think I want 4 more.
Okay, well, welcome back, Jenny, to the Hamiltons Unlocked.
Welcome back.
Yes, and today we started this podcast as a way, if you don't know who we are, if you haven't tuned in, we are the Hamiltons, and we run a real estate sales team, and we are also a blended family. And the whole idea was that we would give you a peek behind the curtain of our real estate business and what things we experience, but also try to give you a little peek behind what blended family life is like.
We're officially unlocking some personal things today.
Yes, we are the modern day Brady Bunch. We don't have an Alice yet. We need that. So if you're out there and you want to apply, we're taking applications.
Yeah, I can't pay you that well.
Yeah.
Right now it's me and you and a lot of family and helpers in our world.
But the truth of the matter is there's a lot of people that listen that are probably in blended families, or maybe they've never experienced it and they don't know what that's like.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has intentions of being a blended family. Like, that's not like you don't go out in the world and be like, I can't wait one day to have a nuclear family and then not, and then have a blended family.
I didn't have 4 children to think, I want a blended family one day. And I know you didn't have 2 to think, I want a blended family as well.
Well, I didn't have 2 to think I want 4 more. That was a really funny trick.
I tricked you. I didn't tell you I had kids.
Yeah. Yes. No, I knew about all 4 of your beautiful children, and I went to it eyes wide open. But that doesn't mean that there aren't challenges within a blended family that you have no idea that you're about to experience until you become a blended family. It's almost even hard to describe or warn people about. And honestly, we sought counseling around this. We saw a blended families coach to help us, and it still takes you by surprise.
It does. I would recommend anybody that's blending a family, anybody getting married, you've got kids, and you're trying to bring your households together, hire a blended families coach, talk to somebody, because I really do think, though, had we not done that,
oh gosh,
we would have done so many things different and so many things wrong.
Right.
But thankfully for her, she was fantastic. And we were able to work with her for a couple years.
Yes. So that was great. So what are a couple of the truths behind our modern day Brady Bunch? We do have 3 boys and 3 girls. They're just split up differently, but we do check that box in the Brady Bunch. We have no Alice, and we're not on TV.
Yeah. And we cover the spectrum for elementary school, middle school, and high school. So our kids range from 6 all the way to 18.
Yeah.
I've got one about to go to college.
You do. And so when we got married, they were 3 to 15.
That's right.
And that meant that I went from having 2 little kids to living in a house with 2 teenagers.
A lot of testosterone and a lot of food
feelings.
eating
Yes.
and feelings. Yes.
And then you actually had the older kids, and then you wound up with a stepson who was still, in diapers practically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big change. And part of that is the management of, we thought we'd be good at managing the logistics, the calendars, the meal planning. What we weren't thinking about managing probably so much are some of the emotions that come along with blending a family, like guilt.
Yeah.
Parenting out of guilt, that the fact that you are a blended family and your kids don't get to live in a nuclear family anymore.
Yeah. And it's hard on them. Look, I mean, they go, trying to look through their eyes. They're in 2 different homes, and they're trying to now get to know you as a stepmom and what you're like in a home. And your kids are trying to understand what I'm like. They've never lived with me full time. And now, we're trying to also have the kids mesh together and get to know each other. And it just takes time.
It does. In fact, I remember you kind of want it to work right out of the gate. And our blended families coach was like, this could take up to 7 years to feel like a nuclear family.
I remember thinking, no, that's not true. She's lying.
Yeah. Now I'm just hoping we get there.
No, I'm like,
kidding.
Okay, I get it.
But we're 3.5 years in. And, you think about getting married to someone and then living with them and the change that makes. Now imagine throwing whole families in the mix and what they've come from. And thankfully, our kids didn't have to lose a parent to death or anything else really tragic in order to be in a blended family. They do have very involved other parents. So that's definitely a benefit to them. But no matter what, it's still hard to start living with somebody else that's not who you've lived your whole life with.
Yeah, I think one of the freeing things for the two of us was giving our kids the space, allowing them to express if they didn't like something, or if they didn't want.
Like all my food.
Yeah, like your food. I mean, I think you make amazing food, but it's not.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the meals that they knew growing up.
Right. We buy different brands of butter, for instance. These are little things you don't think about that feel new.
Yeah, and why you buy the kind of ketchup you buy, you should never buy anything other than Heinz.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know why you buy that ketchup.
Sorry. Well, I haven't anymore. So that brings us to becoming a step parent. So I will say I've done a number of difficult things in my life. Probably the most challenging thing I've ever done is become a stepmom.
Yeah. I think being a stepdad, I don't know that it's as hard. The rap doesn't get as bad for a stepdad.
We literally have like evil stepmom. Like it's a thing, like in the world, like thanks Disney or whoever did that, that you have to overcome.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have a lot of responsibility. I mean, I still take on the, emotional, the actual, the scheduling, the cooking, the cleaning, the caretaking of 4 additional children. And I have all the responsibility and then not a lot of authority.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you get onto your stepkid, it may take some time to recover from that. That's your job. My job is not to parent your children. My job is to help and to love them.
And I think that sometimes it's hard for the kids to understand.
That's right.
If your kids have done something, my kids want them to be punished and they want them to see, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's having to say, look, that's not my call. That's not my, that I don't make that's not my child.
Right.
My responsibility is you.
Yes. Fairness goes out the window. It's not about being fair. We try to make it as equal as possible, but no more being fair. But one of the funny things, I know that my son was 3 when we got married, and he hasn't really known anything else his whole life other than you.
Yeah.
So he does say he has 2 dads in a way. And in fact, I'm thinking of the story when I went to pick him up from his daycare. And it was like a summer break.
Primrose, I do remember this.
And his normal teacher was out. And so they had a sub that week, and it was Father's Day week. And I went to pick him up, and I think his dad had been picking him up all week. He was on his dad's week. And then I got there, and she was like, oh, we have the Father's Day things for Nash. And I said, oh, fantastic. And she was like, yes, he told us about his 2 dads. And I'm like, oh, and she said it in a way like maybe you guys were in a relationship. I'm like, who does she think I am? Like the nanny. But Nash had never differentiated. And he made 2 little, this is who my dad is, sweet. 2 little pictures, and he had 2 dads. Yeah. So, maybe he'll be well adjusted.
He will. He'll never know any different.
That's right. Another thing that we didn't think about, or maybe you don't expect kind of the additional landmines that can come with blending a family are big events that should be just full of fun and normalcy. Holidays, birthdays, those can get sticky.
Yeah.
Traditions are different from home to home. The kids are having to split their times on their own birthdays. Maybe they just want to do what they want to do, right? But everybody wants a piece. The parents want to share in that joy too. And joyous occasions can become really tough, and you have to take your own emotions out of it and really focus on giving the kids what they want.
Yeah. When we first got married, it was right at Thanksgiving. I'll never forget. We took all of the kids, all of my kids, and we went up to your family farm. Mm-hmm. And that was, in my mind and in your mind, it was good intentions.
Good intentions.
But I didn't allow the space for my older kids, especially maybe they didn't want to go, or maybe they were like, this isn't my grandma and grandpa. This isn't my tradition. These aren't my people, even though they love them and, your family loves my kids. It was something that was new. It wasn't the tradition that they had been used to. And so it was hard, in hindsight, I probably would have said, you know what? You don't have to go. You can stay.
Right.
What do you want to do?
That's how we act now. Because we take our own emotions out of it, or our own expectations and our own assumptions about how they're going to feel, and really put ourselves in their shoes and make decisions based on that.
Yeah. I think making decisions about what's best for them and listening to them and giving them that space always helps.
Yeah. You have to tell the story about the daddy-daughter dance, because that was an occasion that you think is just going to be normal.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a normal event, like a daddy-daughter dance going to the school. Everybody knows about them. But yours looked a little different about, 3 months after we got married?
Yeah, it was about 3 months. Yeah. And I'm at the daddy-daughter dance with your ex-husband and my stepdaughter.
Right.
And we get along
and my
great.
daughter.
Yeah.
He didn't take Sage. Yeah. So my ex-husband took our daughter, Kate, to the same daddy-daughter dance that you were at with
Chick-fil-A together.
Mm-hmm.
And
Dinner
then we went to
beforehand.
the same dance together, and we're hanging out. And, he had never met some of these people, and they're coming up, and I'm talking to them, and I'm like, oh, hey, have you guys met Mike? And, how do you know him? Oh, this is my stepdaughter's dad, my wife's ex-husband.
Right.
So it's just a funny, in hindsight. And it was funny at the time too.
Yeah, but you're
and
going.
He handled it well.
How do I put myself in this situation that you never think you're going to be in?
Right.
And what you're looking for from everybody and each other is really the grace to be like, look, not all families look the same, and accept ours and love ours.
In fact, most don't.
Most don't.
Most don't.
Yeah, and we remind our kids of that they have, they're fortunate. They have two parents that love them and extended families that love them very much. But when we're talking about love, what's another thing that's funny is learning how to love someone else's child.
Yeah.
Especially when you come into their lives later into it, and how that love evolves on both sides.
And I think your kids want to know too from you. They feel this. I know I experience this, especially from my younger kids. It's like they think I love my new stepkids as much or more than them, and they want to test that and they want to ask that. And I think it's a reminder to say, no, nothing will ever. I will always love my kids more. And I think that's okay to say.
And
you're going to love your two kids more than you'll ever love my four.
Yeah. And I think a fair word is more, but another word is just differently.
Different. Yeah. There you go.
It's just differently.
It's a different love.
It is. And to not expect it to be instantaneous, and to rather understand that it will grow and evolve over time, because kids spell love Time.
Yes. They're terrible spellers.
Ours especially. But the fact that you're just spending time with them and showing up for them grows those bonds, and it's not instant.
Yeah.
And you can't expect it to be. And I think that a lot of people do, and just giving ourselves the grace to understand that is different than we thought it was going to be is really important.
Different and better.
It is.
I think my picture of what I thought when we first got married to what I think today, I'm like, man, I'm glad I don't think those things anymore. I'm glad we've walked through a lot of things that we have because it's so much better today. Yeah,
absolutely. And the expectations over what your entire life is going to be can be learned through a lot of lessons in blending a family. And I'm glad that we've had that experience. And I think our kids will, grow from the challenges and the things that they have to go through, honestly.
Yeah.
They would probably love to get on these mics and tell everybody about it.
You know what? Maybe one day we'll let them.
One day we'll do that. But what we need is just to raise healthy kids. And that's what we're doing to the best of our ability. And I'm glad I'm doing it with you.
And I'm glad I'm doing it with you. So hope you guys enjoyed that podcast episode today.
Yep. Unlocked. See you next time.
See you next time.